Um, Perfect. Thank you. I was just going to ask that. Okay, so in case you didn't know, we are recording this session. It will be available later in a private LinkedIn group as well as on YouTube video, and you're welcome to watch it at any time. Now, that said, if you don't want to be seen on camera, it's okay to turn your camera off. And if you'd rather not have your full name on screen, go ahead and rename yourself so that just your first name is there. Okay? All right, we're going to get started. Brenda isn't able to join us today, so we're going to try and do this in her absence, and we may stumble a little bit, but that's okay, it's going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by having the All-Stars introduce themselves, and if you're an All-Star, would you please raise your hand, your digital hand, so that I know that you're here and we make sure that we call on you. We're the people who are going to be trying to answer your questions and giving you some advice and support as we go along. And so we're going to start with Joey, then Sue, then Mindy, and then I will introduce myself as well. Take it away, Joey.
Thank you, Linda. Good morning, all. My name is Joey Himmelfarb. I am an author, speaker, and depending on the hour of the day, a career coach. I do help unemployed professionals with their job search. My book that I wrote helps people sell themselves on the job search, because that is my contention, is that when you're looking for work, you are selling yourself. I'm on these calls, as Linda said, to help you all, support you all, and guide you, influence you, the whole 9 yards. And I'll pretty much remain quiet unless I hear you going down a rat's hole, and then I will pipe in and I'll become a Jiminy Cricket and try to bring you back up, because I do believe that positive beats negative every day. And certainly when you're looking for work, you must have a positive mindset. So I'll turn it over to Sue.
Thanks, Joey. I love that you're wearing orange. You got to see the front cover of his book, Don't Paint Your Kitchen, because it's a can of orange paint, as I recall, right? It's, I mean, I looked at it, I thought, oh, he's wearing his brand color. That's great.
Right.
I'm Sue Griffey. I'm known as Sue Mentors in the virtual world. And here and other places, I bring my pom-poms. I'm the mentor with pom-poms to cheer on all of our wins, even wins that you may not recognize, but we All-Stars will try to help you. I work with a global mentoring practice, which means I'm sometimes on the phone at 6 a.m. with Nigeria, but I love it. Don't ask me to be on at 10 o'clock at night. That's harder. I'll turn it over now to Mindy for your introduction.
Thank you, Sue. And I would be remiss in not thanking Sue for her outstanding presentation. I am honored to work with job seekers all day, every day. And one of the things that I love to do is, of course, be with you on Fridays. But we also have a monthly accelerator call, and we call the group the Accelerators because we help to accelerate your job search. And whatever you need in that regard, that's what I'm here to help you with. Sue came on our call this month to talk about excavating your evidence, and that is such an important to understand that. You need to know your numbers, you need to know your data, you need to be able to explain and quantify your accomplishments, and Sue is an expert at that. She helped the accelerators learn about that. If you're interested in it, we have the replay on my YouTube channel, and I'll be happy to send any of you that link, because it's available right now, or go to my latest post where you'll see some gold nuggets of things that we learned from Sue on Wednesday. We're here to help. I'm honored to be among these wonderful folks who are here to help you and support you in any way. Ask your questions. This is the time for you. And I'm going to send it over to Linda.
Thank you. And I'm Linda Brubaker, and I too am a career coach. And my distinction is that I've worked in HR for my entire career. So I've been an internal recruiter, I've been an external recruiter, a headhunter, I've been a talent acquisition manager, as well as a hiring manager. And so one of the things that I do is that I help people who are looking for jobs to excavate, if you will, Sue's term, to excavate their hidden skills and accomplishments, and then leverage them to find their next forever jobs. This is a process, people. We know that you don't really want to be here. We'd love it if you came in one week and just said, hey, I'm out of here, and here's why. But in the meantime, we're all here to support you. And to that end, what we'd like to do is make sure that you all put into the chat a little bit about who you are. make sure that you have your LinkedIn URL, and let's connect with one another and keep these conversations going. In fact, the same way that Mindy talked about Sue's presentation being available for replay or being available on YouTube, this conversation too is going to be available later on YouTube, as well as in a private chat for this VIP job seekers group. And Julia, if you would do me a favor and put the link to that group in the chat, people, if you join it, you'll be able to see not only this presentation, but presentations from the past, as well as to ask questions and to join with us and share ideas and so on in that group. Private group, which means that no one else on LinkedIn can see your activity or even see that you're a member. So it's a good place to go. Okay, that said, we're going to get started. Starting by saying that we really want people to be active this morning. And I want you to start recognizing that you can do this. I'm going to pull a Brenda trick. Okay. And just ask people to start thinking about some sort of participation. She usually asks, you know, are you a coffee drinker? I know that some people aren't. So what's your favorite drink for the morning, your standard go-to? Mine, I admit, is coffee. Okay. Sometimes the more the better. But this is a way of getting us started and working with each other and communicating with each other in the chat. Now, in addition, what we'd like to do is we'd like to make sure that if you are new to the group, you let us know. If you have a success, you let us know. And if you have a question, you let us know. So if you're new, please type new in the chat in all caps so we can find you. And then what we'd like to hear is, okay, we'll bring you up on screen if you want. What we're looking for is, okay, your target title, your target location, so that we can help to support you by doing some of that networking afterwards. So put new in the chat and tell us that you want to talk, and then we'll call you up. And also raise your digital hand. If you have a question, type question in all caps in the chat. We will answer, bring you up on screen and answer as many of them as we can. And if we can't, we answer them in the chat as well, or follow up in the private group. And then the third thing we want is if you have a success story. We love to celebrate success. So success in all caps, and we will call you up as well. We're going to talk to first the new people, then the success stories, and then we'll go to questions. So if I could ask either Sue or Mindy or Joey to monitor, okay, that for me, that would be great. So if you're new and you'd like to introduce yourself, please put new in the chat and then raise your digital hand and we will start calling you up. And I'm not seeing anybody who's raising a hand for new.
Can't be shy if you're looking for work, folks.
One of these things that we do is we really do this as a networking kind of an activity. We can only support each other if we know what you're looking for. Hi, Ken.
Esther Kanowitz is.
Hi, how are you? How are you? Sorry, I'm a little late.
That's okay. That happens.
Linda, Esther
Yeah.
Kanowitz.
Okay, Esther, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'd love to introduce myself. Thank you. I'm Esther Kanowitz. I live in northern New Jersey, and professionally, I am a sourcing, also known as procurement manager. My focus is IT, though I've also been involved in non-IT, and I am a relationship management expert and an expert at contract negotiations, terms and conditions, as it relates to purchases for companies, commodities, and services. Thank you.
Esther, where
Yes.
are you in northern New Jersey? Because I'm in northern New Jersey.
Oh, you're in Wayne. Oh,
I'm in
okay.
Wayne.
I'm in Fort Lee, so we're not far. Maybe
Very cool.
maybe 25 minutes from each other.
All right, great.
And Esther, do you want to stay in New Jersey or are you open to working remotely, in person, hybrid?
So my wish is a remote role. Part of the reason for that is I'm considering moving, though I'm not 100% sure where. And I've been working remote even most before COVID, or mostly remote. So that's my wish. I'm open to contract work and full-time employment.
Excellent. Thank you.
I have
Vanessa.
my
looks like-
information in the chat also. If
Perfect.
anybody would like to link in with me or meet with me, I'm happy to.
Wonderful.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Esther, PM me later. I have a recruiter that I know who specializes in the procurement fields, okay, the purchasing areas. Hers is more product rather than IT, but she might be able to help.
Okay.
I'm
Should
Linda
we do
Bruce.
that on LinkedIn or here?
Do it on LinkedIn.
Okay, I'll find you.
Okay,
Thank you, Linda.
absolutely. That's what we're all about here, is helping each other. Vanessa, you've got your hand raised.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for doing this. Just to introduce myself, Vanessa Ross. I'm located in the Orlando, Florida area. I'm in a little suburb called Oviedo. We have chickens running around here. I am a marketing communications professional. I have about 20 years of experience. The last 5 years I've spent in the ESG space. And if you're not familiar with ESG, it is essentially corporate social responsibility on steroids. And so I am looking for a role that is director and above in marketing communications and or ESG. But my dream role would be to be a chief of staff.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome to the group. Anybody else? Okay, Megan.
Hi, everybody. My name's Megan. I'm in the Metro Detroit area. If anyone's familiar, I'm in Macomb. I have experience working as a broadcast national sales planner. Just new to the job market, so I'm looking for a lateral move if that's available. I've also been doing it for 5 years, so if anybody knows account executive availabilities, that is of interest to me. I also have a background in mathematics, in analytics, technology, so I'm still looking at what fields would work for me with those experience, with those skills, but also interested in a possible shift towards that as well.
Excellent. By the way, another plug for the private group. Every once in a while, some of us will see a job and say, I don't exactly remember who this might fit, but we'll post a job description in that private chat. So make sure that you're taking a look to see whether or not something's there. And if it isn't a fit for you, go ahead and share that outside the chat with somebody else that you know. Let's all help one another. Anybody else in the new group? Did I miss somebody?
Linda, I just want to welcome, oh, it flipped off. I believe it was Kay and Lori, no last names. They didn't raise their hands, but they are new today.
Wonderful. Kay or Lori, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Kay Miller, and I know Brenda pretty well because she's helped us with LinkedIn. Actually, my daughter is in between jobs, and so I'm listening in because I thought I might get some pointers or tips for her that I might pass along that she probably won't listen to anyway, but you never know.
You'll have to have one of us call her because she won't listen to you. You're right.
You're right.
A wise mother.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so I'll see what I could glean and subtly pass on.
Or if nothing else, subtly pass on that she should join this group next time, right?
Yeah.
Or copy the chat and give her the copy of the chat and
Yeah,
see whether or not.
yeah, that's true.
But don't
Yep.
tell her it was your idea, Kay. Tell her it was Linda's idea.
Exactly.
Okay,
I'm not happy to take the, I have 4 kids. I am more than happy to take that blame.
so you probably understand that mom doesn't always know best, but
Right.
So,
What do we-
okay.
what can we possibly know?
Exactly. Okay, and then there was somebody else, Sue. I'm sorry, I missed it.
Lori.
Lori,
Lori.
but also Amy, apparently her hand raise button isn't working. So Amy does
Got
want to
it.
get on, and I don't know if Lori does.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm here.
Okay.
My first time joining. Happy to be here. Really interested in the content that you guys are providing today, and appreciate the opportunity.
Wonderful. Thank you. What are you looking for, Lori?
Something probably in the customer success or marketing mid-level, mid-management role.
And what location of the country?
Either Michigan or remote.
Very good, thank you. Amy. Did I miss the name? I know your hand wasn't working.
Right. I don't know if she's trying to unmute or stepped away. She's still on.
Okay, well, we can
Oh,
come
it's
back.
me.
Very
Sorry
good.
about
There she
that.
goes.
Can you hear me now?
We absolutely can.
Okay. I thought I hit it, so basically I was talking to myself. Anyway, obviously my name is Amy. This is the first time I'm in the group. It seemed to be a very helpful group, and I will definitely come back. What I am ideally looking for is a job in insurance, small commercial business with an insurance company as a marketing rep. There are several different names for it, so I'm just using the broad name. Each company has different names of it. My last job was at Liberty Mutual doing this. My last 3 jobs were doing this, and this is what I really want to do. I'm in Manhattan. So ideally Manhattan and or the 5 boroughs, but I do not have a car and I do not drive. So sometimes what's coming up is the territories are either too big for one person, regardless of whether you have a car, or I need a car and there's no way to get around it. So that's what I'm looking for. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I'm sorry.
We have Diana Lee, who's new. I don't know if Diana, yeah, she's unmuting.
Okay, great.
Hi, thank you. I couldn't find my raise hand button on my phone. I am looking for an HR director role. I have about 20 years experience. I live in Nassau County, Long Island, so I'd like to work somewhere close to home. I can drive. I did work 18 years commuting into the city from here, so I'm used to a long commute, but it is 4 hours out of my day doing that commute. So would like to work closer to home. My first time looking for a job in Nassau County, there aren't as many opportunities here than, as in the city. And I'm also looking if you can refer me a recruiter would be very helpful. I haven't had luck finding a HR director role, told I'm kind of niche, but I am an HR generalist. I'm hoping to find out what skills am I missing that people may be looking for in an HR director.
Diana.
Hi.
Hi, it's Mindy. I know a fabulous recruiter in Nassau County, only focuses on HR. So
terrific.
Can you reach out to me and I will be happy to forward her name to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Mindy. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And I know another one who works out of Illinois, but works nationwide. And again, the only focus is HR.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I'll reach out to you
them.
too, Linda. Thank you.
Of course.
Absolutely. And I used to live in Nassau County, so I know it well.
Okay. Anyone else? Want to make sure that we give everybody the opportunity. Okay, Ken, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure,
Ken is
absolutely.
another one of our all-stars.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Kenneth Lang. I'm a LinkedIn trainer. I was in corporate for many, many years before I decided to retire. I'm currently a career coach for Lee Hecht Harrison, working with a lot of people that are in outplacement, and I know a few of you have reached out to me. I live in northern New Jersey. I'm happy to have chats with anyone, happy to meet people. If you connect with me, make sure you tell me exactly what you're looking for, because like everyone else here, I've got a very vast network and I'm happy to do what I can. So I want to thank Mindy, Sue, Linda, Joey. I'm going to do like my little Brenda thing here where we kind of go through the role of the people here. My all-stars, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and hope to see you very soon. I do LinkedIn Lives Tuesday from 1 to 2. I'm not doing one this week because I will be away, but stay in touch. Again, I'm happy to help and support you in any way I can.
Wonderful. So I just put my information in the chat as well. And I'm going to add one more thing since we're talking about upcoming programs. I do a job search lunch and learn every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Central Time. You are more than welcome to join us. Topics change every week, and I'm trying to get them out there so that people can see what they are. Okay, sorry, just trying to put it in the chat, and I'm going to put that in the chat as well. Just like these Lunch and Learns and Ken's programs and the VIP network and the accelerators programs, these are all programs designed specifically to help job seekers. Okay, they're free. We really want you to come in, participate, and join us. Okay, that said, let's go celebrate a couple of successes. Did anybody put success in the chat, Sue? Nope. Anybody have a success that they want to talk about? Can be a short one. Okay. All right, Sandra, I see your hand up.
Yes, I could go ahead. I'm based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And if there's anyone here based in Canada, I have been accepted into a government-funded program, 3-month program, that is insanely intense to basically identify who it is that I am as a professional and the value that I bring into the workplace. And I just wanted to let people know that source out any government-funded programs in your area that can help you in your job search, because some of these programs are amazing. And the people that they bring in to conduct these programs, they have extraordinary skills, and also your ability to expand your network, because I'm meeting just tremendous people in this cohort, this 3-month cohort that I'm involved in. So again, just be creative, search out any government programs, funded programs that will enhance your ability for your job search. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And along those same lines, I just put in the chat a program that you may want to take a look at. It's through your unemployment office. It's called the WIOA program. It is a grant-based program to provide training for people who are unemployed or underemployed. You access it through your state unemployment office. I can't tell you that you will qualify. There are certain criteria, and they keep changing all the time. But if you qualify, it provides grant-based, meaning no refunds, no repayment required, but funding for specific job-based skills. It's a great way of making yourself current as well as adding something new to your portfolio. So check it out. Okay. If we have other successes, we will pull them up as they come along. But in the meantime, let's start getting to some of those questions. And I saw several people put question in the chat. Okay. So if you've got a question, can you raise your digital hand, please? As well as, oops, Sue's going to talk to us about it. Okay, or pull somebody up. There we go. Sandra, I still see your hand up, but I can't tell whether that's.
Actually, I can go ahead again. I forgot to put my hand down, but I can go again. I have, oh gosh, just when you mentioned that, my comment just escaped me. So I'll lower my hand and then raise it again when my thought recirculates. Thank you.
That's fine. Yeah, of course.
Okay, Linda, I found the question.
All right.
It's from Neil Isaacs. Neil, do you want to unmute and talk to Linda and all of us about the question? It's a LinkedIn question about how to show if you're not currently working.
Right. I've seen people use hashtag ONO as they're currently working, or they'll put that they're looking for work, or they'll even use a member of an association or organization in their field. as their current position. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I'd like to get the All-Stars' thoughts on those things and what I should do to show that, you know, the current position shows, which will also put me higher in the LinkedIn algorithm.
And it
Thank you.
does. And then actually, that's a great question. Julia, would you put the link to some of those open to work kinds of companies in the chat, please?
Can I add something on that, Linda?
Absolutely.
There, hopefully Julia can find this. If not, when I finish talking, I'll go find it because I've saved it. Brenda did a post about this a year and a half ago, and I guess re-upped it a few months ago. We haven't had this question on the on the VIP job seekers for a while, but there are several company pages that have logos with them, so you won't be the gray box next to your experience, that don't exactly say open to work, but also allows you to explain under that what you've been doing in your quote non-work, non-job time, so that you can talk about that. Or I've seen, and early in COVID, someone I worked with had career advancement as their period of not working, and talked about the way in which they were doing not just a 1-hour training, but if they were doing trainings, whether they lead to certificates or not. Anything that looks like a way you can show you're staying current with your associations and with your technical areas. And I'm sure the other All-Stars have things to add on this.
Absolutely. In fact, you can add volunteer and talk about what you're doing there. The idea is to have something listed as current, Neil, because otherwise you're right, the LinkedIn algorithm doesn't necessarily find you. Don't worry when Julia pulls that link up. If it isn't exactly in your area, it's not a big deal. Nobody's really going to check. The idea is to have something there that says open to work, looking for new opportunities, and then your job title is what it is you're looking for. And we will still find you that way. And the algorithm will find you that way.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Mindy.
Yes, thank you. So I just wanted to, yes, in addition to what Sue and Linda are talking about, another thing that you can do is to start your own company page with create a logo and talk about, you know, several of you said you were open to consulting. Start a consulting company. You could call it Esther's Consulting, right? Whatever you want to call it. But you can then list under there your skills and the things that people might want to find you for. So the key is you've got to have something that you're open doing currently, and your last thing should not be my last job, you know, ended in 2022.
Right.
Okay.
Excellent. Anybody else want to contribute to that? Sue, did you have more?
I just tried to, I have the link to Brenda's post. It's giving me a 404, meaning page not found message. But I'll see if I can search on LinkedIn and get those companies. I want to emphasize what Mindy and Linda just said. Volunteer work. When Mindy talked about setting up a company, you don't need to set up an LLC. Just make a company page, go to Canva, make a free logo, pay someone $5 on Fiverr, or well, there must be $10 now to make a logo for you, a company name, and list the kinds of things you've done and contributed. And because Mindy mentioned it earlier, I will just say, and if you want help figuring out what kinds of things have I actually done, Mindy's YouTube channel has the replay from what I presented on Excavating Evidence on Wednesday. Thanks for letting me do the plug.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Okay. And I know that Julia can find, Julia sent me actually that list of company names a week or so ago because somebody had asked me and I couldn't find it. So thank you. All right. Let me see. John, you look like you've got your hand raised.
Yeah, hi, good morning. Along that same topic, I've been reading the last week or so about not having, you know, a to present employment listed, and just wanted to, you know, based on what I'm seeing is the LinkedIn algorithm sort of penalizes you in search results if you don't have something to present. So Just wanted to throw that out there to confirm with the LinkedIn experts whether that's actually true or not.
Yeah, unfortunately it is.
True.
Okay.
Sorry. I mean, you can do a gap of about 2 to 3 months in current and it'll still be okay. But beyond that, I would make sure that you have something listed there.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. David. David Mills?
He's muted.
I know. Can you unmute David?
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, so in my current position, I want to get people back here. Okay, I was originally trying for like a biology environmental science role years ago, and I decided to switch and try and transition into particularly data analysis, maybe also market research. I've done a lot of coursework in those areas. I think educationally, I'm pretty much ready, where I can get up to at least the point where I get entry-level job and get trained. But what I'm finding is that even if they say entry level right on the job description, they still ask for 2 to 3, if not more, years of experience. And it doesn't look like my education counts as experience. And I sort of feel like stuck there, even for applying. If I don't have the experience to ask for, how can I even apply to the job to begin with? So I'm feeling kind of stuck. Is there any way out of this conundrum?
So before I open it up to the All-Stars, the idea, David, is that's their goal. If you meet 60 to 70% of what they're looking for, apply anyway. The skills that you learned in those training courses, you can still add to your resume, whether you've actually had the opportunity to do them or not.
Which
Some
I've done.
of the, right, and some of the project work that you've done in those courses, you can add as well as accomplishments or as highlights.
Okay. Because there was one position recently where you put in information, it says right away, do you have this much of experience in 1 or 2 other things?
In which case, that's called a knockout question. Companies are doing those, and you're right, that one may not move forward. The other thing you may want to do is you may want to look for what's called a returnship.
A returnship.
Companies call them lots of different things. They're called returnships. They're called
Is that an internship or different?
actually it is. It's like an internship for grown-ups.
Oh.
Okay. There are a number of different ways that they're called. They're fantastic programs. They run normally anywhere from 6 months to a full year program. It's a combination of on-the-job work, and you're getting paid for this full salary.
I was going to ask that.
Okay. But you are working, you are getting mentored, you are getting training and getting support, because they're specifically designed for people who have been out of work for anywhere. Some of them start at 6 months, some of them start at 2 years. You have to take a look at what their criteria are.
That's cool.
Okay.
How do I just Google returnships, or?
You could Google returnships.
Yeah.
There is an organization called irelaunch.com.
Relaunch. Never heard of these. Cool. All right, I will check that out. Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. And there are several others as well. So if you want more information, we'll try and do some more posting about some of those.
Okay.
Okay. Any other All-Star want to chime in on that? All right, then we'll go to the next.
irelaunch.com.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay, I see it.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Now, not all the relaunch programs, by the way, are listed there, but it gives you an idea. Sandra.
Yes, thank you, Linda. One of the other options I'm looking at, instead of just one role at one company, is also looking at fractional opportunities, where, and particularly for growth stage companies, whereby they're unable to afford an experienced individual to come in on a full-time basis. They can afford someone on a part-time basis. to come in and set up processes, procedures, policies, and provide structure to a company. And in my case, manage a small sales team. So, and I know of other people who've been very successful in that type of approach. So again, that's another option, is the fractional approach. And also another option to elevate your profile and expertise in your industry is to write a blog. And that was one thing that was suggested to me. So writing a blog, posting that on LinkedIn, cross-posting it to other websites like Medium or other websites whereby your content can get more exposure, using hashtags, and particularly on LinkedIn, using the keyword hashtags for your blog, and also the @ symbol to tag various people who you want to read your blog. And so that's just basically a marketing tactic to demonstrate your expertise in that particular industry that you're seeking employment in. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other else you want to go in with that? Okay. Vanessa, it looks like you have your hand raised.
Sure. So, hi everyone. I was laid off in February, and I first struggled with getting interviews and revised my resume, and then started getting interviews. Then, now that I'm getting interviews and that activity has picked up, things fall apart in different phases in various ways, shapes, and forms. I've been ghosted. I've been it's been kind of a very wonky experience. But when I do get feedback, and I always ask for feedback, it's always positive, which is great and lovely. But I also want to know what I could have said or done better so that I could use that the next time. So I was wondering if the team had an insightful question that I could ask the recruiter or others that could help give me that feedback that could help me improve for the next one.
Anyone want to jump in on that one?
I'll go.
Thank you, Joe.
So Vanessa, I think sometimes what happens is, the person we have the most conversations with every day is ourselves. And we know that most of those conversations are usually negative or on a negative bent. And and when you're looking for work and you're not getting, and even you're getting positive feedback, but just like, okay, so why don't you hire me? The fallback could be, well, there must be something wrong with me. I don't think you feel that way, which is great. Good for you. 2 points for you. Sometimes they can't tell you because they have to be positive. They don't want to get sued, or they've got a friend who's lined up for this job and they're just going through the motions of interviewing 2 or 3 people like Vanessa just to prove to everybody, we interviewed outside, but Billy here, here's our guy. So he's the guy we're going to bring in. They'll never tell you that, of course. Now, if you think that, that's a challenge, but you've got to go in there thinking that you're their knight in shining armor. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I know this is woo-woo, but it wasn't meant to be. And I know you don't want to hear this. There's thousands of jobs out there. I know. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but the one for you, and you call it your dream job, it's out there. You just haven't found it yet. And it's not 1950. They're not coming to you. You got to go to them. So you got to maintain your positive your attitude, your positive mindset, and just continue to plug away. And one day it will come. I don't know if there's a silver bullet or a question you could ask, because like I said, they're legally bound to be nice and positive, and they can't say bad things because they don't want to get sued. I don't know if that helps, but that's my immediate thought after hearing your story.
Mindy.
So Vanessa, your experience is not unique, unfortunately. And I would ask you to take a moment and step into the shoes of the recruiters that you're dealing with. They have multiple bosses. Their main goal is to make a match, right? Their goal is not to piss people off or ghost people. They're paid to match candidates to the correct jobs, right? They may not even know why you're not being hired, because they may be reporting to someone else who is a hiring manager who, like Joey said, might have someone who's on his team already that's going to get that job. And it has nothing to do with your qualifications. You may be perfectly qualified. And so don't take these lack of responses from recruiters as an indication that you are not doing well enough. Take it as these people are super busy. And I do not recommend, just if they ghost you, doesn't mean that you should stop connecting with them. I like 3 strikes and you're out. I like to respond or request another call, or send them good information, do something to keep the interaction going, because you just never know when that job, even if they think it's being filled, might fall off and there might be another opportunity, especially if you think you had a really great interview.
Absolutely. In fact, very few people actually will send the thank you after a rejection. And it's something that I encourage, because it's your way of keeping that conversation going for future. The other way of trying to get feedback, you're right, you're not going to get a whole lot of feedback from recruiters about your specific interview style. But if you ask instead, not what did I do wrong, but can you give me some advice to help me better prepare for a job like this in the future? You're building on their expertise and you are more likely to get a positive response. You still may not get it, but you're more likely than asking for interview feedback. It's just turning it around slightly. You'll get the same information.
I have definitely done the thank you notes even after rejection, and I have really gotten a positive response from that. So that's definitely something I agree with. I do have a follow-up question, if that's okay, on the LinkedIn putting something in there. So I have done that where I was doing contract work, I created an LLC for myself, etc. And I put that in my LinkedIn, and it really almost screwed up the algorithm in that it was matching me or saying I was a top applicant for CEO jobs and like other like owner type jobs. So I changed my title just as consultant to kind of accompany that. So I just wanted to share that with the group, because that title that really is in that current spot seems to reflect that algorithm and what comes back through LinkedIn.
Absolutely a great point, Vanessa. And so I don't actually recommend, you can set up your own LLC. It's not necessary. You can call yourself a consultant. But if you call yourself the COO or that you're the president of your own company, you're right. It may position you in a way that you don't want to be positioned. Okay. So do be careful about that. Esther.
Yes, hi. Is it okay if I say something on the subject? Because I have something. Okay. One of the things that I do, you need to do it sincerely, because I think everything is felt, no matter what you say or write or whatever, is I say, please let me know if there's anything I could do for you. And I mean it sincerely. And, sometimes they'll say, do you have another candidate? Let's say I'm not submitted, or actually recently I was submitted and the manager liked me and there was so many questions back and forth. I never got the interview. And then they explained why the manager decided not to interview me. I said, it's totally fine. I completely understand. And then through networking, I met somebody else and I sent that person to the recruiter because I said I knew she was more appropriate. So that was a case where I was actually able to help. But when I do the thank you note, if it's a recruiter, I say, let me know if I could help in any way. I'm happy to link in with anybody in your organization if they'd like to, because I am open to pretty much linking in with almost anybody. And what it does is it de-objectifies them too, right? Because, we can feel objectified. They don't get back to us, whatever. But like has been mentioned here, everybody's busy and everybody's trying to get things done. And when we see them as a person and we'll offer them help, they're very grateful. And that will come back to us for sure. And the other thing I wanted to say to the lady who spoke and asked the question is, see every rejection as a stepping stone to getting the job, because basically you're telling yourself, you're telling the world, I want a job and I'm going ahead with this. And the more that you do it, see it as a win because you went through everything and you did your best. And also you may not be getting negative feedback because, honestly, there may be none. So, I would advise, and I haven't found anybody yet, but is to do mock interviews with, other people. Most people seem to want to network and not do mock interview together. And sometimes you can get a lot of good feedback from somebody else doing that with you. Thank you. Thank you, friends.
You're welcome. Good points. Anyone else? Okay. Carl, I noticed that you had wrote a question in the chat. Do you want to raise it here?
Yeah, I was in another call where they had a retained search recruiter on as a guest speaker, and she shared what she said. Here's a dirty little secret that people don't want to talk about, but it happens. And that is when they do a search for a candidate, if they get way too many in their result, it's very common for them to then add criteria that look for keywords in your profile that would suggest you are a member of a different diverse group. That, traditional things we talk about like gender, sexual preference, ethnicity, things like that. I would just like to hear from the All-Stars, how would you recommend knowing that that's happening, I deal with that so that I'm not getting knocked out on that type of a hard cut?
Anybody want to take that one?
Can you clarify again what is it that you're running up against? Because I'm not sure I understand.
I don't know if this has happened to me, Joey, but it may have. I don't know how I would be able to know. But for example, if there were too many candidates, this recruiter says they'll add in criteria that look for keywords like woman or LGBTQ or things like that to whittle down the number of candidates they're getting back in their pool. And I know this is a sensitive topic and perhaps maybe even legal implications, but if it's happening, how do I respond and position myself so that I'm not cut on those type of criteria?
That's a tough one, but I always go back to William Shakespeare, to thine own self be true. And if you start manipulating yourself to fit these requirements, I think that's a landmine. I think I can't speak for me. I can't do that. I mean, this is who I am. This is what I can do. If I don't fit the mold, whatever the case may be, if I can't cut through the 1,000 applicants, okay. Like I said before, it's not right. It's not meant to be. I'm moving on because this life is way too short to spin your wheels trying to get to this one job that they keep moving that finish line, if you will. I don't have the time. I don't have the patience, and I just don't. I don't have the wherewithal to do that. But again, this is me. I could be completely off base, but I just, to thine own self be true. I don't know if that helps.
I agree. Mindy.
I'm going to follow up on that. I'm sorry. Who was the gentleman who asked the question? What's your first name?
Carl.
That's me, Carl.
Carl, hi. So you can't be something that you're not. If they're looking for a female and you're not, you can't change that. And guess what? this month, LinkedIn hit 1 billion. That's a B with a billion members, right? 1 billion. Let's forget all the bots that includes, all right? Let's not get into that conversation, Ken, because I know we're going to have that conversation. But regardless, there's a lot of people on LinkedIn. And so if they need to filter, they're going to filter. You can't be in their shoes. You need to present yourself in the best possible way that you can. You need to showcase your accomplishments, and you need to show the evidence of your accomplishments. I'm going to echo Sue's mantra. We need to be very, very mindful that there's tons of jobs out there, and there's more applicants than jobs right now. So just make sure that you're showcasing yourself the best, and you need to make sure that your profile speaks to who you are, make sure that your resume speaks to what you can do, and be a valuable asset to these people. You can't worry about all the other things that they're filtering for. You got to worry about your own keywords, things that you're capable of providing, and the value you can provide to your next employer. I wouldn't give it even a second thought.
Okay, thank you.
And I agree, and I'm going to put on my other side of the desk hat. I'm really surprised by that kind of a conversation. There are very few ways that you can find by parsing a resume whether or not someone is LGBTQ, for example. Okay, or many of those other things. It is extremely rare, so much so that I can't count on the fingers of one hand the number of recruiters that I know that would try and use that kind of search criteria to try and whittle things down, unless the company were under some sort of an EEOC compliance agreement, or if they were a government contractor who was required to have X percentage of employees meet certain criteria. And if that was the case, there would be that demographic question at the very beginning of your your application process. They're not going to try and find it from a resume. At least that's been my experience. So I would take that one with a grain of salt.
Yeah, thank you. That makes sense. I mean, this recruiter was actually in the LinkedIn recruiter view and was sharing, here's literally the search string I'm putting in to do this filter, which I thought was evidence that it's happening, at least for this person, and they claim that they know many others who do. So thank you all for your comments.
Okay. Other questions? I hope that was able to help, by the way, Carl.
I do have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I couldn't find the raise your hand. Just wondering if anybody knows how you get help writing a resume, a service, or any professionals that people know and would recommend.
So there are a lot of us on this call that do that.
Okay.
That can provide you with some of that assistance.
Okay.
But you can also check to see whether or not your state unemployment office might provide you with some assistance, depending upon what kinds of things you're looking for. But if you're looking for a professional to help you with that, Mindy does it.
Okay.
I do it.
Okay.
Ken does it. Joey does it on occasion, maybe. Yep.
Okay. And so,
right. So the idea is you can reach out to any of us for conversations.
Okay.
To see whether or not it might be appropriate, but it also depends on what it is you're really looking for.
Okay. All right. That's good to know.
Okay.
For
Excellent.
what it's worth, I'll just add that I got my profile and my resume as good as I thought I could get it, just from reading articles and best practices, and then invested in the kind of help you're talking about.
Exactly.
I found it was just money well spent because I was getting expert opinion for nuances that weren't like the obvious baseline stuff that I could figure out. So that's worked really well.
Great point, Carl. Thank you.
Also, Kay, if this is for your daughter, I think you were talking about, this is why you're on the call. If
yes,
she,
that's true.
If she's a graduate of a university, you've paid student fees to use the Career Services Office, and so she should make use of that service.
But she
And
no, she
they-
has since college been employed for
Great.
like 6 or 7 years. Is that still an
Well,
option?
Of
You
course
can
it
always
is.
check.
She's an alum, right? Definitely. She's definitely an alum. She keeps getting letters asking for money, right?
Yes, we all do.
Yeah.
Huh?
So yeah. So if they're asking for her money, she needs back
Yeah.
some of the money that she spent on all those student fees. Right. Also, she should make sure that she uses the alumni bank of that school.
Exactly.
Right. There's thousands, if
That's a
not
good
hundreds
idea
of thousands of
too.
students of alum who went to that school who are related to your daughter just because they went to the school. And that alone
Yeah.
could be her in to a next job. But she's got to use that alumni bank. Again, it's not 1950. They're not coming to her. She's got to make the effort. Not her
That's a
mother.
really good idea. Plus,
Not her
she
mother,
also
Kay. She does. She's got to make the effort.
I
Right?
know. Oh, I
She's got to
know.
make
This
the
is why I
effort
have
to
to take
reach out to these people that are out there who could help her.
Okay. Like I said, I'm gonna have to figure out how to present some of this information. But that is good
Okay.
because
Tell her
also
Linda
she
said-
Okay,
don't.
I have a suggestion for you. Why
Yeah.
don't you just give her one of our numbers and we'll talk her through it.
Right.
Oh yeah, she'll call you right up if I give
But
her a
tell her,
new
tell her you
number.
found the phone numbers in the bathroom. Don't
That's
give
right.
her the. Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
not
good
from
to
you.
know. It's good to know. Okay.
Not from
Right. Perfect.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other questions out there? We still have just another couple of minutes.
I just wanted to let everyone know I found the LinkedIn, companies that you can
Oh,
use
good.
when you're out of. So it's in the chat. Just make sure to save the chat for yourself and you'll be able to find it.
Wonderful. The chat will also be posted in that private group. Julia posts that later in the day, along with the video of this call. Okay. Now, these calls are held on the first Friday of every month. We'd love to see more of you join us. We'd hate to see more of you join us, so you understand, the pull and push there. But by the same token, we're here the first Friday of every month to provide you with some of that support that you need. And feel free to reach out to any of us at any time. I think we've all put links in the chat in terms of how to connect with us, as well as how to set up a virtual conversation. I've noticed that several of you have already taken advantage of that this morning, and that's fantastic. Okay, so thank you all. I agree. Thanks. And I know I've talked to some of you privately as well, so that's wonderful. Okay, anything else that we can do for anyone today?
Linda, can you
Yes.
repeat what you said about setting up virtual conversation? I missed that.
Absolutely. So for a number of us All-Stars, we're here because we want to be able to give back. But in addition, perfectly honest, this is our business area as well. But for most of us, I know for me and I know for Ken, and I think for all of us, we also are open to a quick little chat afterwards at some point. Okay. So I'm going to put my link in again to set those up. Maybe.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Feel free to reach out. Okay. Ken calls his a networking follow-up. I just call it a 20-minute chat. Happy to answer.
I
Go
just
ahead.
have a comment.
Go ahead, David.
I just have a comment just to say thanks to all of the All-Stars that show up here. I know it's once a month, like right now, that's on the job hunting part, with us just fine. But one of the different things of many that y'all have taught us to do is to go on LinkedIn and go on and find these associations of companies that are in the realm of what job you're looking for, and just start commenting and sharing on their own posts. That way you're going to get names, you're going to get contacts right there, and it leads to things, right? Make an opinion and have your own personal brand showing up. And I've seen just great results on my own part about making connections inside companies because you mentioned their name. I like how you reply to their post using their @ with their name. Thus, it goes right to them. So you're getting a voice with the people in the companies that wouldn't let you in because they're ghosting you. But on LinkedIn, you're right there. So that's just a good way to get known. And then you follow up with a LinkedIn request or a connection request or something like that. But you should need to have an opinion about what they're posting about, or at least congratulate them for the success that they're posting about, or, you know, make a suggestion or something to that effect. But, you know, it doesn't have to be rocket science, but it can be just very brief and short. And it shows that you're in the game.
You know, and thank you, David, for sharing that. I want to throw this out. I'm going to beat a dead horse. So, you know, this call specifically is an example of you don't know who knows who, right? And everybody you meet, those 250 people you don't know. So, for example, on this call, within the last hour, I'm looking up something like Diana Lee mentioned she's from Nassau County and would love to get a job closer to home. Mindy says, I used to live in Nassau County. I know a recruiter. Let me make a connection. That never would have happened an hour and a half ago,
right?
If Diana wasn't on this call. Now, is anything going to come from that connection? I have no idea, right? I have no guarantee. But I guarantee if Diana doesn't get on this call and Mindy doesn't listen that she's from Nassau County and make that connection, then that definitely won't happen. So you got nothing to lose. Get on these calls, network with people, get on LinkedIn, as David was suggesting, and just reach out. But be genuine and be authentic. Do not grovel. Nobody likes to be groveled to. So thank you, David. Great points.
I haven't heard that word in a while, Joey, grovel, but
Please don't grovel. It's not, it's below you. It's not you. Don't grovel.
He's funny.
Not good.
Yes. Joey, you can always count on Joey to just lay it on the line.
Sorry. From New York.
No, I love it, Joey. That's fantastic, right? What you see is what you get.
You got the marathon this weekend, Joey.
Yeah, that's right. Are you running? You're not running, David, are you?
I'm not running it this year, no. But
No,
it's hard to get into that thing. But you know, that Verrazano Narrows Bridge at the beginning, oh my God.
Yeah, no. The 2 hours it takes them to run, that's how long it takes me to put on my shoelaces. So I'm good.
It's a beautiful experience, though.
Sure it is. I'll take your word for it.
Take care, everyone. Great seeing you.
I agree. It was wonderful. Any last comments, anybody? Otherwise, we're going to say goodbye for this week. Remember to check out that private group. Thanks all for being here, and we will see you next month. Remember to check out Mindy's programs, Ken's programs, and mine, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.